Well, it's a happy new year from me and a happy new season for Southend United. We tried to back up our remarkable debut in the Championship last season, and although it's been a quiet transfer window so far, we're about to take some big gambles and bring in some absolute superstars. Yes, hello, and welcome along to part 41 and season 6 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We are back to begin the 28-29 season, and while our remarkable run of 3 straight promotions was ended in the previous season, it was still a magnificent overachievement, and it now becomes a real chance to push on in the second tier of English football. We knew we were going to need a bit more competition, we knew we were going to need a bit more quality. And while we've not actually added it to the squad yet, over the next week or two with the deals we've got agreed, we might just be adding that little bit of stardust. And unlike me, I'm taking a little bit of a financial risk. We'll see what I mean in a moment. So if you're looking forward to all of that, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. I hope you're all looking forward to this save throughout 2024 as we try and get to the top of English football. But for now, it's very much about avoiding a slip up in the second season in the Championship. So to do that, we've got to have a look through our summer transfer window before playing our first game away at high-flying Ipswich. They're a side expected to be near the top with Marco Silva in charge, and as you can see, doubtful with injury Federico Redondo, a player we've got in our Twitch save with Luton Town, competing well in the Premier League, so we know the quality of player that this team has got. What you can see though, before we head over to the transfer centre, is that Harrison Parker is back. He has got one of the targets for this year. And we've also brought in another superstar from Southampton on loan, so we are keeping enough quality in the squad. We have had frustration though in some aspects because you can see now our bank balance is actually the best it's been for some time. I've not quite worked out where that money's come from. We'll probably have to go and have a look because we've picked up loads of prize money and maybe it is just 2 years of Championship TV revenue. The fact that we've been bringing in more season ticket money because yeah, look, season tickets, massive money, especially compared to last season, although it does look like our bank balance went to a similar level last year, so maybe it's not that surprising. But despite that, we've not got much of a transfer budget. We tried once to get it increased slightly and it didn't come off, so we are left a little bit short at the moment, albeit we've got a little bit of wage budget to play with, which I'm about to use in a way I wouldn't normally. So let's go through to the transfer centre and start with the players that have left the club, including those released. So a fair few goodbyes to say from Southend United, and while not for players that were really involved at first team level last season, they are all for players that have competed and been a big part of this save. So Joe Williams was pretty instrumental in the League One promotion, got a few big goals and produced some good displays. Leighton Stewart had a great loan spell in the National League, did okay in his second spell, but again, probably didn't compete as much as he would like. Luke Matheson was brilliant in 3 promotions, but the Championship was just a level too far. And then Michael Dewenny, again, a bit of a squad player here and there, has made 44 league appearances for us, so we do have to give him credit for contributing. Alex Byram was the best youngster the first year, but he's just not kicked on. And while he has got a bit of potential out wide, the money he wanted was silly, and he's now gone to Coventry for far less, which is annoying. So those are the 5 key ones that have left the club, with a number of youth players as well. But if we have a look at all of the players that have left the club as well, there are a few outs we're going to have to talk through. We did briefly in a season review introduce the 4 new young players. They've all gone out on loan already. But in terms of outs, you can see 3 of them went there. And if we go through to the new season, we have added to that with a few more young players leaving the club. Craig Williams has gone out on loan to Carlisle. His last chance really to make it as a top pro. Colin Driscoll got massive potential, but he's just not fulfilling it. Hopefully a season in the Football League will help him. And Nico Lawrence has gone to Preston in League One. And again, here's a player who I think is a little bit better than his star rating gives him credit for. So we'll see how he gets on. And again, if we need an emergency backup, if we do have a dodgy year, he is someone that can compete for us. But in terms of the ends, you can see 3 names there. 2 of them very familiar. We've signed 1 former loan player permanently, another former loan player from a couple of years back on a free transfer, and we've used the Southampton partnership to get another player on loan. But let's quickly recap the 4 young players that have come in. Micah Hutchinson, a young right back who's now gone on loan to Maidstone. Hopefully he'll be able to progress because he is playing international football as well. The second one is Chris Lewis from Manchester City, a good young player who's growing, who's getting taller. Hopefully will help him become a target forward. He's gone to Sutton, where he'll be this season. Gowan Englefield from Arsenal has gone on loan to Dorking Wanderers. A good young fullback with a bit of potential, but at the moment, a few little deficits in his game. And again, the final one, Thiago Paolucci, he's gone to Maidstone as well. And he's a pretty good young player, both as a midfielder or as a centre forward. We're not really hopeful that all of those will make it as a pro. We're kind of looking at maybe one making it for Southend and one making us a sell-on fee, because if that happens, then it pays for the four of them and a bit of profit. For this season, though, we've added 3 senior players already, and there are 2 more big ones coming in shortly. So firstly, McKinstry has gone back from his loan. We couldn't get Diblin again, so we needed a wide player because we had Tyler Goodrum to cover on the right. We know we've still got Sonny Hilton and Will Ferry, who we kind of thought would have left by now and still may by the end of the window. But this is the step up we were looking for. Sam Amo Amiu is a brilliant young left winger. Can play naturally on the left of a midfield 4 or a front 3. Can cover up front if we need it and on the right hand side. He's a proper player, 4-star ability, a real talent that's played at championship level on several occasions, done really well at Watford, at Middlesbrough, and played games for Southampton and Reading too. This is a player who's got remarkable quality and is probably the best left-sided player we've had in this save. If we could have got Diblin as well, it would have been beautiful, but as it is, we've got one quality player, and I'm sure he'll do a good job for us. We add to that Reece Russell-Denny as we looked for a couple of step-ups in midfield, and we have eventually found one now. We've tried to be a little bit more patient with our summer transfer work this year because we've not found those big upgrades immediately. And I'd rather wait like we did last year and then bring in your McGregors, your Goodrums in October than immediately try and push, because there's no expectation of promotion. We've got to finish mid-table. So as long as we get a decent enough squad in, we can add to it as the year goes on. Reece Russell-Denny, though, at 230 grand, a bit of a bargain, really. He's a solid midfielder. He can play that holding role if we do change shape later on. And he's also still got a bit of potential with a good personality. So as a simple squad player that's played over 50 games here already, it made sense to get him in, and I'm thrilled to have him at the club. The third one, you may remember from a loan a few years back though, because Daniel Cox, I want to say, was part of the League 2 promotion. Let's go back and see if we're right. Yes, he was. He played 31 games for us that year, half of them from the start. At that point, he was on loan from Derby. The following year, he was stuck in their reserves, but then he went to Fleetwood in League 1 last year and had a solid season. And he's very much that, just a solid centre-half. Can cover at left-back, he's good central defence, he's decent physically, and he's got all the key attributes. So, while he's not going to be a starter for us, to get a squad player who knew the club already, that was happy to join for a very small wage, it made perfect sense. And again, he's still got a bit more potential to grow into. So, we'll get him in the mentoring group, we'll get him working with the stars, and hopefully, he'll push on to the next level. If not, we've got a backup for next to nothing. So those are the 3 that have come in, which you may say, bar the lone player, isn't that exciting. But then we've got what's about to happen. Now, I've taken the decision to step things up a little bit and take a couple of slight gambles financially. Now, I'm not going to do anything that risks the club future because that would be silly, that wouldn't be sustainable, and that's not how we play the game. However, what we are going to do is take a couple of calculated gambles with wages and just move up to the next range slightly, but with a few caveats. Players that will have release clauses, that will have big relegation drops, and that will also have longer contracts, so we can maybe sell one of them on for big money. So let's go and have a look at the 2 we've got pre-agreed. One of them is a young player that I've signed for a different reason, but one's a superstar. There's no doubt in it. So of the players that may be going, basically when this centre midfielder comes in, Alistair Smith is going to complete his loan to Wrexham, and when the left winger comes in, Will Ferry will complete his loan to Peterborough. Sean Rose also looking for a loan out too. But if we go to the ins, we have got potentially 3 additions into the club. Now, we tried to get Diogo Fernandez back as we're still trying to get Jayden Danns out before we lose him for nothing. Not happened yet, so unfortunately we're short there. But have a look at this guy having a work permit in midfield. Even if he doesn't get it, we'll allocate him one of the slots, but we're upping our highest paid player from 8 grand a week to 12.5. because Andre Santos, you've heard this right, is a Brazilian international. Yes, he only played one game and it was some time ago. He only played one game for Chelsea as well. But Santos is a player who was on loan in the Championship 2 years ago and was one of the most influential players for Ipswich, our opponents today. He's played in the top tier of France with Strasbourg. He's played for Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. And he's been worth 12 million at one point. So to get him in on a free agent deal is something I felt would be ridiculous to turn down. And if you look at him compared to, say, Russell Denny, who we've just introduced, even to Jack Morehouse, who's been a superstar for us, I mean, this is some upgrade, isn't it? Let's put it into perspective. This is the guy we're bringing in to try and revolutionise our midfield. And here's the guy that we're loaning out, who is half a star away from first team level. We're talking about a big upgrade here. I'm pretty sure when he comes in, the coaches will rate him better than 3.5 star. But if not, he's going to be a superstar for us. And I just saw him and went, look, we're struggling to get in that linchpin midfielder who's going to hold down a team. I don't feel I can turn this down. He's got flair, he's a playmaker, he's quality, and he's good physically. I just felt that he was one who would come in, we'd get a year out of, and then would probably get sold on for huge money. And if we do that, excellent news for the football club. There are other additions as well though, and the next one coming in is very clever for a different reason, because we're going to spend all of our transfer budget on Anselm from Swindon. He's coming in for 500 grand with a nominal wage to replace Will Ferry. He's 19, he's a left winger who's going to be backup level. He's about the same ability as Ferry, albeit without the defensive attributes. But have a look at his personality at 19. We've found ourselves a young model citizen and a youth international for Spain in years gone by. He's played a season in League 2 and really stood out. He played in non-league the year before and really stood out there. He is a player that's excelled wherever he's been, and according to the reports, he's got more potential to grow into, albeit not the best in the world. And with a good young player on loan from Southampton, with people like Parks and Hilton as part of the squad, I just felt like this was a really clever deal because you know with that personality, he's going to reach his potential. So Anselm will be the second one that's about to come in. We're just awaiting a confirmation on that one. And then the third one, another name that might be familiar to you, is Josh Craven. I don't know whether this deal will get done yet. He's the young right back at Southampton who has come on leaps and bounds, can cover on the left as well, and is really high quality. Probably as good, if not slightly better than what we've got. But that relies on Alex Williams, and the reason we went for him is because we've been getting 2 or 3 offers for him. Kilmarnock rejected the deal we offered. There was one, I think Livingston, where we accepted it and he rejected it. But he has been wanted at times, and you can see he's a good player, but he's no better. And if we get good money for him, we'll let him go. So that's the position we're in at the moment. The most exciting work has probably not yet been done, but it has basically been agreed. And then we're just going to try and gradually find players like Santos this season. I've got 2 others that I'm looking to bring in the next couple of months. One of them is this guy, but we'll have to wait for his demands to drop. Because at 34, he's not the best player in the world, but he's incredibly versatile. He gives us strength in depth everywhere. And he's another great personality with experience. So if we can get Solly March this season, I'd be thrilled with that. And there are 1 or 2 others as well. But we'll see how it pans out over the next couple of months. For now, we've got a decent squad going into the championship season. If we have a look at what the board have predicted and what the media have predicted, the media have got us outside the bottom 3. Promoted Salford, apparently going to struggle. Rotherham and Blackpool again, although Rotherham, like us, defied the odds to finish in the top half last year. And then Swansea down there. And then you've got a big group with like Huddersfield, Plymouth, Blackburn, etc. But for now, we know this is going to be a tricky season. It's probably going to be a little harder than the first because teams will know what to expect from us now. And we are going to stick generally with what we've played this year and last. But I'm hoping we're still going to be able to be successful. And I'll be honest, I don't think we'll be near a relegation battle. And I certainly hope not, because the board have got us to finish in mid-table. The supporters expect us to finish comfortable. We need to become established in a championship. But so far in this save, it's been an absolute dream. So let's hope we can do it again. I did miss out on one bit of news from pre-season though, because almost the day after we left after our season review, we did get some big news off the pitch, which is great for the future. Maybe a slight worry for now. It is part of the reason I was happy to make the change I did, because our capacity has been reduced by 562, just into the 10,000s now, but we're getting a capacity expansion of 10 shy of 3,000. And that means that the stadium will hold over 14,000 when the work is done, making it far bigger than Roots Hall was, which is brilliant. We've got great training facilities, everything else is progressing really well. We've even got a good stadium sponsorship deal. I mean, I know we mentioned it a few times in this save. We got really lucky with the takeover at the start. I know it's not the big tycoon or anything like that, but they've made us so financially stable. They've kept the budget sensible. And while we have got loans at the club, and there's some big ones with the stadium as well, they're all really manageable. So we're paying 150 grand a month now. And it's not a great deal, to be honest. The TV deals from the Championship will cover it, as will the increase in capacity. We've also got, as you know, in the squad, Harrison Parker back for another year. He's going to be really important at centre-half. He's officially the best player at the club with the other lone lad from Southampton. But even if we get Craven in, we've still got a couple more slots. So if the right players come up, I'm not averse to using them. We've still got the worries with Morehouse and Jaden Dans, both with 1 year remaining on their contracts. We tried to offer Morehouse one, which didn't work out. Jaden Dans he's got silly demands. But the rest of them have now started to push on a bit because Elkan Baggett turned one down, but Aaron Presley has signed an extended deal and reduced his demands slightly. We've managed to get Cameron Ishmael tied down for another year as well, and Daniel Rose, the goalkeeper, has signed for another 2 extended years, making his contract a 3-year one now. We've got Jarrell Kwanzaa a bit unhappy because we've not offered him a new deal, but again, his wage demands are silly, and he's got 2 years remaining at the minute. So we're going to stick with it as it is for now, and hopefully for this season, we'll be solid in the Championship. We go away to Ipswich. Where were they expected to finish? We didn't look. They are expected 12th. They've got a pretty good squad, though. A few of the originals still there, but then the likes of Redondo, Burnaby, who we know is a pretty decent player. A few more flying wing-backs than that there. Ellis Sims has joined the club with Scott Twine for attacking quality, and then you've got the likes of James Bree coming in. Very solid Championship players. So let's go and get through to the first game of the season. They're playing 4-3-3, so we are going to be able to go for a slightly more standard tactic, the 4-4-2. We shouldn't get overrun too much. Nearly 30,000 in at Portman Road, but look at the team we've got out today. We've got a couple of slight concerns with Stephen Parks out injured. We know that Smith is going to be going, and we know that Rose is probably not quite good enough yet, albeit he is improving. So this is the 11 we've gone for. And bar Kwanzaa, I've tried to go for a happy team as well as a fit one. So we've got Daniel Rose in goal. Brookin is in at right back because Williams has threatened to go and isn't quite as good. Cameron Ishmael is in for the injured Parks on the left, with Harrison Parker and Jarrell Kwanzaa continuing their good partnership in the middle. Tyler Goodrum, as it stands, is now the first choice right winger. We'll hope he can have a good impact this season too. Samuel Ammo makes his debut on the left with Russell Denny and Morehouse in the middle for now. Hopefully in a couple of weeks, Andre Santos will be in that deep line role. Morehouse, I need you to sign a new deal, son. The front two are Joe Hugill and Jaden Dans, who I'm desperately throwing into the shop window. He has improved his finishing slightly, but will we get that big offer? Will we get the 11 million we had before? Only one way to find out. Let's get through the opening game of the season. Cox, the new signing, is on the bench, and hopefully we'll be able to find a way to win, or at least get a result at Ipswich. Well, here we go then. It's a very good Ipswich team. You look at that squad and you think, you should be finishing higher than 12th, arguably. They've got good players on the bench that would walk into our 11. So let's see how we get on today. We're going to say the pressure is all on the opposition, which motivates most of our boys. Let's get through the first half against Marco Silva's team and against a very big crowd at Ipswich Town. Well, it's been a quiet 7 minutes to start off, but we're back with a set piece, and that is where we're a big threat this season. Hugill, Parker, Kwanzaa, all big boys in there. We know we've got height. Even Jaden Dans is 6 foot. We've got a bit of a threat, but Kwanzaa, he misses the target with this one, as James Bree breaks away down the right. Good fullback at this level, but Samuel Ammo gets in, cuts it inside to Morehouse, who's developing well but won't sign a new deal, puts Joe Hugill in. And it's a great start to the season again. I don't want to get too excited. We went 1-0 up at Forest on the opening day of last season, lost it 2-1. But Morehouse with a through ball, Hugill with a goal. If you put Santos in this midfield, we're going to be creating chances galore for this front two. Look at the stats as well. We are not fluking this game. At Forest, it was very much a smash and grab till they turned it around. Here we are dominating a match and deserve our lead, and I don't know if you noticed it below, Rotherham doing the same again. They're 3 up at home to Blackburn. Goodrum puts the ball in. It's away as far as Parker, on the edge of the box, and the one thing I do like about this team at the minute, it's very settled. Only a couple of new signings, and even one of them's familiar. This is a team that knows each other well, and that's normally good signs at the start of the season. Barrios puts it through though. Kwanzaa does well. Parker hoofs away to Hugill. It's a flying tackle from Burnaby. And this is turning into a long highlight, and Ipswich look to have the better of it. Rosario in. It's cleared away though. Samuel Ammo heads downfield. Rosario picks it up a third time. Burnaby on the left, over the top to Twine. This spells trouble. Twine gets in, cuts inside to Masengo. It's a great goal. And that's the quality in this side. They don't need to dominate games. They just need to create chances for these people. We had our Bristol City save last year. We know just how good Masengo can be. We got massive money for him in that one, didn't we? We haven't got people worth that much. What a player he is. Maybe our midfield star Santos next week could become that man. But for now, despite a very good first half performance, it looks like we're going to go in level. We've got one more chance with Brooking on the right. Takes on the fullback, runs at him. Scott Twine doubles up to help win it back. Now Rosario can go away. It would be absolutely criminal if we went in behind, but Kwanzaa does well. Morehouse flicks on for Goodrum. 2 up front if we can find them. Goodrum goes wide. Chance to cross. It's a great ball in. And Hugill into the side netting. It was a clever run across the front post. Just what you want your striker doing. But it doesn't quite come off. It stays level at the break. But the performance is very encouraging. And if we can pick up these performances every week, you would expect us to get a number of results. We'll look at subs around the hour mark because, of course, first day of the season, not everyone's fully fit. As Rosario gets it on the edge. Ipswich have improved since the half an hour mark. Burnaby gets in. It's a good save, Dan Rose. Delighted he's signed a new deal. I've always thought this in FM. It's not about how well your goalkeeper's rated, because just stick with a keeper that performs well. And he's performing well consistently. Saves that header from Twanzebe too. As we approach the hour mark, I'd take a draw in this game. But look at Rotherham. 2 of us the favourites to go down again. Bet we both go in the top half again. As Samuel Ammo back to Ishmael. Good 1-2. In towards Goodrum. Walton does well. The goalkeeper claims it. Holds it comfortably. And he goes for the big kick on the counter as well. Hurst flicks down. It's good centre forward play, sorry. Ishmael wins it back though. Then Daly's on it. It's the problem when you have to put your subs in. Cracking effort from Hurst. Just wide. He had the goalkeeper scrambling. With 25 to go, we're going to make our first changes because Roddy McGregor will replace Russell Denny, who's not had his best game. And Jayden Dan's on a booking and playing poorly. Hugill will switch sides with Presley coming on. With 25 minutes remaining, we would expect to try and compete for the result based on the way we've played. But we know this is a tough game. And as we go into the final 15, I've got the choice between tired legs and players who have been playing less well. We've got a League Cup tie midweek, so it's not a disaster if people aren't fit. Perkins will come on for Hugill, who is also now booked. At right back, I'm going to bring Alex Williams on. And on the right of midfield, Sonny Hilton's going to get a game. He comes on for Goodrum. And we're 10 to go. We're bringing on players that we thought would be gone by now. There's still a little bit of trouble with the squad depth. But my God, this has been a good performance. With 5 to go though, it's Ipswich on the attack. Corner to the edge of the box and we've charged it down. Morehouse away. He set up the first goal. What can he do here? Releases Hilton. There's 2 in the middle. Look up, Sonny. Great ball for Perkins. And the man who joined late last season, another of those we brought in during the year to improve the squad, has popped up with what might be a winning goal. But what about Sonny Hilton? Should have left the club, is an emergency backup at this point. And he has come on and picked a cool and collected pass at a crucial moment. And now, with a few to go, we are going to drop into a bit of a time-wasting tactic. I'm just going to drop the duty slightly. Nothing crazy. Then we're going to time-waste all the time and slow the pace down because this would be a remarkably good start to the season. We got 4 minutes of added time remaining. And we are 2-1 up at Ipswich. It's a huge win. And it's a fabulous performance. Sonny Perkins scores. Joe Hugill scores. 2 of the centre forwards with a goal. Morehouse mesmerising in midfield. And some of these young players with big potential. Maybe it's their chance to shine. What a performance, what a result. Rotherham top of the league despite being favourites to go down with us. And since we've come up, we've both proved the odds wrong. So well done to both teams today. Let's go and have a look at what that means for the table and when we're going to come back next. Because Craven has agreed his loan deal. We'll delay that a week while we wait for other things to go through. And if we go and have a look at the schedule, we are going to be back as always for transfer deadline day, which could be a big one with some of the players we've got here. And of course, with some of the contractual issues too. Now, I might need to get Craven in before midweek because Cameron Ishmael is suspended and Parks is injured. Unless I can keep Ferry for one more game at left back, that might be a bit of a tricky one. But we are going to return for deadline day on West Ham at home. Should be a big game. We got a ridiculous win at them last season, but they battered us at home. Will they do so again? If you want to stay up to date and find out, and you did enjoy this thrilling first game of the season, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought of the performance and the result. Let me know what you thought of the signings that have come in and the ones that are about to join too. Am I making the right decision? Will Santos be the start I'm expecting? If you want to stay up to date and find out, subscribe and turn that notification bell on because we'll be back in a couple of days' time. New year and we're back on a normal schedule now. We'll be back in 2 days for West Ham and deadline day. And there may be a few more exciting additions yet. In the meantime, though, we'll be back with a head coach tomorrow. We had the first episode from that one of 2024 yesterday, a deadline day managed by our director of football. And of course, you can also find our latest guide up in the eye above relating to mentoring and plenty more, including the Twitch channel and the football podcast too. But thank you very much for watching. Your support as always is appreciated. A happy new year for 2024. And I'll see you back here next time as we look to make this transfer window and this championship season one to remember at Southend United.